We've spent our whole lives living in a neurotypical world, figuring out how to navigate unspoken rules and a code of conduct that everyone else seems to have built in. And unfortunately, tabletop role-playing games are not the exception to that. Problems with object permanence and short-term memory certainly come into play. Turns are missed, monster abilities are forgotten, and long pauses interrupt the game while we look up whatever the heck that one thing was with the thing. I'm Skylar, the ADHD. I've been running the game for a while now. In that time, I've adopted a few techniques that make this whole thing go a little bit more smoothly. Let's get into it. The first tip is something I think intuitive to a lot of ADHD folks, but that I've never heard a phrase for until now, called point of performance. I didn't know the name until How to ADHD talked about it in the ADHD-friendly kitchen hacks video. And if you haven't seen that channel yet, it's wonderful. I'll throw the link in the description. And point of performance means that everything you need for a given task is within arm's reach. Ever notice how ADHD folks' desks, kitchens, and coffee tables tend to have everything on the surface? There's a reason for that. It's not laziness, which is kind of a gross word anyway. It's the need to be able to see things in order to access them. Really frustrating bouts of where the heck did I put that thing? I just had it. Where's my remote? Where's my D20? Where's the Switch Pro controller? These all happen to me 1,000 times a day. It can slow down a game as much as anything else. When I run my game, my DM screen's not just to hide my juicy secrets from the players, it's my point of performance. It acts like a staging area for everything that I need to have on hand. Instead of having to flip through books for entries, fumbling with sheaves of paper to find that one elusive note, I'll have that stuff paper clipped to my DM screen. That means some things, especially monster stat blocks, I'll have to copy down by hand onto index cards. Longtime viewers will know that I love an excuse to use a nice pencil. And writing something down, for me at least, makes it easier to remember. I also have an adventure script, which is more like a bulleted list or a flowchart, and that'll usually take up a single page of letter paper or an index card. I know you probably don't run the game like me or anyone else. So what's crucial for your point of performance is going to be unique to you. You like dry erase markers, miscellaneous tokens, a laser pointer for your handmade mirror puzzle, lists of NPC names, quick shop inventories, random encounters. Whatever makes the game easier and more fun for you to run should go in your point of performance. It's still D&D, so there's going to be stuff we have to look up no matter what, but that is what brings us to our second tip. Ask for help from the players. There's no rule in any edition of D&D that says we have to do all the work to make sure everyone has fun by ourselves. If there was a rule like that, we'd throw it out because it's dumb. While the players probably shouldn't help you with things that are going to break their immersion, like game prep stuff, there are plenty of things that come up in the course of normal gameplay which could be outsourced to your friends. You can offer inspiration to people who want to do this for you. Things like tracking initiative, tracking how much damage the players have done to monsters, looking up spells. All of this slows down gameplay when the DM has to do it, and for some reason the norm is that the DM has to do it, even though the DM is doing everything else. Sharing these responsibilities with the players takes away a lot of my performance anxiety and the stress of running the game. Number 3. Shorthand player information. Nothing disrupts a dungeon delve faster than, hey player, what's your armor class, passive perception, hit point max, etc. And the player digs out their character sheet. Sometimes they can't find the number. It's a whole mess. Sometimes I'm that player. You don't need to keep copies of the entire character sheet on your Dungeon Master screen. That might defeat the purpose of your point of performance if it's way too cluttered up. But if you get a little sticky note that says Ragnar the Fighter, 17 AC, 15 passive perception, 42 HP. You'll notice I didn't abbreviate passive perception. It's because it's PP. Once you take these numbers down, they're going to go on your point of performance. Not only does this give you a handy reference for triggering traps, detecting hidden Not only does this give you a handy reference for detecting hidden traps or hidden enemies, or whether or not an attack is going to hit a player at all, it's also a really nice place to keep broad notes on the players, like, oh, this player was cursed by a hag. This player is seeking the Sword of Aeons. This player angered the Assassin's Guild. And that way you can organically seed in quest hooks or impending consequences throughout the adventure, and it'll be fresh in your mind because you're looking at the little sticky note in your point of performance. Number 4. This tip comes from Dale Kingsmill. If you're crawling through D&D Tube and haven't seen her stuff, why are you here? Go watch it. At the end of the video. So this tip pertains to distractions at the table. The good old ADHD rejection sensitivity dysphoria, or RSD, can be a real kick in the old keister when you're trying to get everyone's attention to start the game or move it along, and it just doesn't work. For some reason, no one can seem to hear you. Instant feelings of failure and imposter syndrome make the rest of the game not very fun. All your work is for nothing. We're doing this presumably to hang out with our friends, so if they're having fun and joking around, that should feel good, but if it's at the expense of everything that you've worked so hard to prepare, what's the point? First, if there are snacks, put them somewhere that isn't the table where everyone is playing the game. Second, create a queue for the game to start. Dale Kingsmill talks about a playlist of character theme songs that terminates in the campaign theme song so that everyone has a chance to goof around and chat for at least a couple songs worth until it gets to the campaign theme song, and then boom, it's time to start. That's the show intro. The cold open is over. Those are my most effective ADHD-friendly Dungeon Master tips. I hope you can find some use for some of them, or if you have any of your own, please drop them in the comments so that we can all use them. Goblin together strong. If you're playing on a virtual tabletop, your point of performance can be sticky notes on your monitor, information organized on a second monitor, or an actual Dungeon Master screen around your keyboard. I've done that before. Most people just have a browser window with all the tabs you'll need, but that plays into my object permanence stuff, and sometimes I'm automatically like, oh, I'll close this browser window since I'm not using it, and then all my notes are gone. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell. Read the book, light the candle, and excommunicate yourself from the uninitiated. If you want to play in my West Marches campaign, The Veiled Yonder, all you gotta do is join my Discord server, link in the description, and make a character. Every week I do a little design work for my West Marches game on Twitch at twitch.tv/the_ADHDM. Whoever just has twitch.tv/ADHDM, you don't ever upload anything or stream, so contact me, I guess? We can work something out. And the reason I can run D&D and make videos and work a day job and stream on Twitch is not just because of my ADHD need to multitask. No, it's because the support of my patrons at patreon.com/ADHDM. They are enabling me to reach out to more goblin-brained gamers and create a space where we can run games comfortably and confidently. If you want to breathe their rarefied air, that link is, you guessed it, in the description. Patrons also get to vote on what structures are built and restored in the town of Exile, the home base in my West Marches campaign, and that has a big impact on what people do between game weeks during their downtime. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.